like it. I feel like I'm going to open with the Dempsey voice, man. Field report.
I threw up. Funny story, I actually threw up in front of his office.
It tastes like shit. Don't be gross.
Yellowmouth Yuck Yuck survival. Here we go.
Yuck Yuck. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's yucking time.
Yo, what's good, dude? You're listening to the YYPP Yuck Yuck Productions podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Christensen. And with me, as always, the biggest, blackest mother yucker you've ever seen, the Sean.
That's me, man. Whoa, we got some elevator music going.
Oh, I gotta edit that out.
Elevator music, man. Check it out, dude. We got the camera angle. What you know? We only have one, though.
Went up.
We were going to have two, but then So now
We're figuring it out. It's all good.
It's better than the what are they? Camcorder, camness, webcam. Webcam. We don't want to be those type of people.
Running in 14 frames per second.
Ooh. Yeah. It's the 18th century, all right?
Speaking of things that can happen in 2018, I figured out nature told me I have a big penis.
Oh, okay.
So this took me a day to figure out, but so we have one bathroom here, and the 5 of us in my family share it.
Okay.
And so,
all right.
neighbor has this dog that barks whenever I go outside, but it's only when I pee.
Oh man.
If I go out there for any other reason, nothing.
Right, but only when you pee.
Yeah, or so I thought it was when I pee. So it turns out it's like I had a suspicion at one point, and I went out there because someone was in the bathroom. So I was like, I'm just gonna go piss in the yard. Right, and so I go out there, and I undo my zipper very, very slowly. I can hear the dog, but it's not barking.
Yeah.
Right? And as I'm pulling my strap down, right, to get my pee-pee out, as soon as my pee-pee flops out, the dog starts barking.
Oh, God.
So my dick is so big that it displaced the air enough for the dog to sense it and start barking. Nature told me, man. I got a big
create
slump.
A wormhole with all that density, bro.
With all the density. What's good with you, Sean?
Dude, I have to tell you, he's sort of related to that, dude. You ever play Far Cry 5, bro? Yeah. Far Cry 5, man. So there's a mission in that. It's the funniest thing. I can't believe I haven't told this story. There's a mission in that game called the Testy Festy, right? Because the game's based in Montana, and essentially you run into this cook dude, and he needs you to go harvest some bull balls so that he can do his famous Rocky Mountain oyster show. And, it's like a barbecue thing, and everybody comes around, and they all just eat some testes, man. So it's called the Testicle Festival. And so, I played the game, I beat the game, and I'm replaying it now, and it reminded me because when I went back, so I was going to a leadership conference, like in June, and I was driving up, and we had to drive through Montana to get to northern Idaho, and I saw a freaking billboard in real life for the Testicle Festival, dude. It's real. Oh, it's not. God, it's not fake, dude. I was like, what? Man, the devs did their research. It's a freaking real thing, the Testicle Festival. So, anyways, I guess it's just they just harvest bull balls and get it done, man. That's how it goes. Oh God, it's too much. Anyways, that's my story for the day. I'm here though. It's really
you learn something new every day. That should be the beginning of the show. We both bring in something we learned that week.
That's right.
It's like, shit, man, you learn something new every day.
That's right, man. You learn something new every day. That's what my stepfather used to say. Now he's in prison, so I don't know how applicable that is. But
people that aren't in prison have said that too, I promise.
That's right. Learn something new every day, man. Well, hey, man. How was the week? I feel like we live just different lives, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm working the grave at a factory.
Oh, yeah.
You're dancing with old chicks.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're not all old. In fact, actually, I'm now specializing. I'm breaking out into a teen program, bro. I mean, I've done the teen program before, but now I'm, that's my specialty. I'm like 20. I already feel old, dude. But I'm not quite as old as some of the other instructors.
Yeah. We got a couple of guests coming up soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chipping them in. Should we do a 3-person podcast, man?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Get the triangle. Oh.
Oh, man. That's a whole nother camera issue now.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Yeah, but we can solve that by next week, probably.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll get that shit figured out.
This is the temporary. For now. For now. Only for now.
Our quality until we're shooting like a whole 2-hour film and we like script out the whole entire podcast. And
that's right, man. We got this whole like complex intro planned. Walking in. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, I'll have see if I can get Grant Mooney to.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah, see if we can get Grant Mooney to do some music, and then have like this cool intro when we walk in. But then we're also like have little cameo things, like I can vape and then like spin around in the cloud and walk through it.
Be crazy, man. The editing prowess. Nathan's an editing prodigy. That's what he's gonna
Damn
do.
right. Damn right.
Gonna fly in. All right, man. Well, last week we entered in with a pretty heavy story, so I feel like now we can't replicate that, man.
Oh yeah, man. We're gonna keep it light this week. Just kidding. I want to talk about some real heavy shit.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding. I started another show on Facebook Live.
Oh yeah, that's right. You wanted the morning show.
Yeah, the morning yuck. I was gonna do it daily, but I realized that grind is like it's extensive as fuck. So I'm just gonna do it week daily.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the weekends off, and
Okay.
and I'm not gonna do it on Mondays because we do the podcast on Monday mornings.
Right.
So it'll be a Tuesday through Friday thing.
Tuesday through Friday, brother. Yeah. It's all
And
right.
that way, my weekend's still my weekend. I can fuck off a little bit, do some masturbation, whatever I got to get out.
Sure, man. I mean, you gotta do your tasks.
Yeah, you gotta do your stuff.
You
I
gotta
only
get
clean my
your
room once a
colon
week.
cleared out. Your
Keep
prostate.
my prostate
I mean.
healthy as fuck.
That's right. Shame on you, man. You sicko. What are you doing? This guy, we got to get him out of here. This is a 4x4 room. There's an illusion. Where the camera's at is where the wall is. That's it.
It's so small. I go crazy here. All I can do is play video games and look at porno.
Man, I walk in the room. It's just humid as
It's just clouds in here all the time too. I air it out before you come over, but it's normally I got the whole place sealed up and I just sit here wafted in my own vape clouds the whole time. And I'm not even like a hardcore vapor. It's just like a great way to pass the time. Just a humidifier in the room, but it's all coming from my lungs and I just get to sit in it. I like it.
Jeez Louise, man.
I think I'm gonna lay off the liquor for a bit though.
You gotta. It's not good for your kidneys, man.
I drank more than like half a bottle of vodka.
Jeez.
Not last night, but the night before. But my hangover literally lasted the entire next day. It was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. I can't do this to myself anymore.
I can't do this. And you're going through an intervention with yourself.
Yeah.
Your
No, I
kidneys
literally
come out and they're talking. They're like,
I felt something
please.
like move in my liver. And I was like,
no.
I just felt so useless because I couldn't even do anything. I was just like, my head hurt. I was like, I should have made myself throw up.
The freaking Borderlands thing. Boom, 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 boom. You're like, dying, dehydrated.
Oh yeah, man. I was just drinking cranberry juice, just trying to.
Oh yeah, that's right, man. Speaking of being like just super, so I had a church event on Saturday, right? And it was really good. Like it was a 6-hour missional development thing. And I have to be careful because it's different. So like in my church, like missions are different. So it's not the same as like Mormon missions. It's like missional could be like just the mission of the church, like you extending out, which I don't know if it's the same. If I offended anybody, I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, so we had this 6-hour missional thing where we were just talking about how to get to the community and basically the fact that you don't get to people through being like, hey, Jesus. You get to people through inviting them to barbecues and just being in fellowship with one another, and that's it. Yeah. You don't have an agenda or nothing because you don't. But anyways, so yeah. So before that, I had to take my girlfriend to Boise, and so I drove up to Boise, and like didn't get any sleep. Just drove up, drove back, and had 2 Red Bulls. And I don't drink energy drinks, right? I'm a good guy. Yeah, it's not the same though. We can have caffeine, but no, it's just I just don't feel the need for energy drinks. If I'm gonna do anything, you got to be coffee. But I have. Funny story. I might tell it another time or later today. I'll tell it after this story. It's a segue. Okay, but anyways, I just don't like driving around and feeling like I'm tired on the freeway, and so I had 2 Red Bulls, 2 16-ounce Red Bulls, and so but I had like finished the last one almost literally just before I got the twin. So I get to my house and I fall asleep. But I had to be at the church 45 minutes later, right? So I freaking like wake up and I'm like, it was the weirdest thing. I drank the Red Bull, but for me, because of my PTSD, it's just like an on-off switch, dude. It's like when it's off, it's off. I just go to sleep. Like I don't have any trouble sleeping. I have nightmares, but I'm not scared of them. So it's like I'm just like down, right? And so I get to sleep, wake up 45 minutes later, and my brain was awake because of the energy drinks, but my body was not. So it wasn't a lucid dream or sleep paralysis. It was literally like my body was just exhausted, like I'd just been punched through 4 mountains by Goku, and like my brain was just like, "Oh, we're going," and my body's like rusting. I'm like, "Oh, I can't get to work." My boss is like, "What happened to you, man?" I'm like, "I'm dying. I'm dying here, man. It's too much." So it was the weirdest thing. It was like being pretty out of body experience, man.
See, I'm used to that shit because when you work graveyards, I mean, you still have to like bakes aren't open at 1 o'clock in the morning, so
it's true, man.
Sometimes you have to like wake up and like in the middle of your sleep schedule and like go run errands and shit, and then are you gonna go back to sleep for 30 minutes before you have to get up and get ready to actually start your day, or you're just gonna like tough it out and be a zombie for a bit? And so that's why you get paid more if you work the grave, man.
Yeah, you gotta remind yourself that you work and you make a lot of money. That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot of money is a gross over exaggeration.
You will. My uncle's been working there for 7 years. He'll for as long as the factory's been. I don't know if it's been 7 years, but
no, I was talking to this one guy that worked there, and he said he was on the construction crew that helped build it, and so he literally has been at that plant since it was a lot.
Jeez,
like what a cool experience for him to like be laying the bricks down and like be working in that construction crew, and then get to go work in there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is tough though. I used to live with my uncle. Well, he would live with us, me and my grandma, but he would work the same shift as you, 12 hours night shift, but he made like bank like $19 an hour.
He was on full time though. I'm a temp, so
true.
The temp agency takes like $325 off the top.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how temp agencies work. That's how they make their money. They make sure there's people in there and they get paid $325 a head an hour.
Okay. Oh, $325 an hour. I thought you meant $325 a paycheck.
No, $325 a person an hour.
Ooh.
They take that right off you, buddy. Because if you were hired on, you'd be making 15. And so I make
12.
Yeah, pretty much 12.
Nice.
After Trump's 1.2 that he gets, I make like 10.80.
Nice. Okay. Could be worse. Yeah, but you work a lot of hours too.
Yeah, I mean 35 hours a week usually.
Okay. So almost full time.
And it's still like the way they do it. I've been really bad about this lately, and that's something I want to talk about too, because I like to talk about my own shortcomings as well. That way, I've acknowledged them, I manage them, and become a better person
and move on.
Yeah,
evolves.
I talked about this in one of the morning yucks, and it was following your dreams for dummies, like part 1. I guess we could call it. And this is just going to be the whole thing, because I don't feel like I got to hit on everything I really wanted to.
Sure, man.
And the inspiration came from Joey Diaz when he was talking about like the beginning of his stand-up career.
Okay.
It was like a really rough start, and you're like living check to check but you got to be working like a day job while you're doing it. Because if you're not working like a day job, like say if my parents just let me live here without working or anything, you know, and they believed wholeheartedly that this podcast thing will take off eventually, then it's like I have so much time to squander, and I only have to work, you know, the 6 hours of recording and editing and getting all that done, which isn't a lot. So it's like I have a friend right now who I'm not gonna say their name because this is kind of a personal thing, but they had that situation where it was like they believed in their, you know, they had a friend's aunt that they were staying with that believed in their dream wholeheartedly. Like, I believe in you guys. And after like a couple months, they were just like, all right, well, you're not making any progress. Cause it's like, what do you have to work for?
Right.
You're not grinding on anything. You're getting like a free ride. Like, you don't have a reason. Like,
Sure.
You already made it. You're living somewhere, you know, and not to say that he wasn't trying. It was just like he was squandering a lot of time and wasting a lot of time thinking about what he didn't have because he had so much time to think about what he didn't have, versus if he was just out there working a job and working on the podcast stuff.
Right.
And so the reason why I like working where I work is when you're a temp, they have a you know, they only need so many people per night, and they have like, I think they try to have around like 10 more than that. That way if people are sick or call out or whatever, they still have entire, it's an order of how many people for wherever. And so they have like a volunteer system. So if you want to go home that night, you know, he rotates people out that already have a lot of hours.
Oh, okay.
So that way everyone gets a fair shot at hours still, but then he asks for like, you know, 5 volunteers or whatever. And so if I was exhausted after this episode and I passed out and didn't get any editing done, I could try to volunteer that night and come home and edit it and get it uploaded. So I like it for that reason, but I've been streaming some video games on Facebook all week. Because I just went and I was like, I don't feel like working. Raise my hand. And then I only worked like one day. And so it's like, well, I got bills to pay still. Like, I still have to pay my phone bill. I still have to put gas in the car and shit. Got to pay for the podcast hosting and stuff because the Patreon's not that big yet. Donate to the Patreon at patreon.com/yuckyuck.
That's right.
I would at least like to get to our first goal of $30. So that way it pays for all the web hosting and RSS feed and stuff. That's what I'm going to set the first goal at later today.
Right.
But yeah, I was kind of abusing it, man. And so after listening to Joey Diaz talk about, you know, it's like if you don't have that day job, then it's like you're just sitting there thinking about all the things you don't have, and you get depressed and stuff, and you think about all your shortcomings and stuff, and you're not getting better. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, man. It makes sense because I was watching Trash Talk with Gary Vee this Saturday, and he was that whole show. He finally did it, dude. So, you know, Nathan's been watching the Gary Vee, but he talks about flipping things on eBay, right? And just grinding your face off, right? And so he's finally like, because he's a very, very practical guy. He always puts his money where his mouth is, right? And he started a show called Trash Talk where now, even though he's a freaking $1 million executive, he makes like, you know, he's an executive of a $200 million a year company. Yeah. So he's a millionaire. He's got stock in like Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, he's got stock everywhere. So he's super investor. He's probably going to be a billionaire soon. Anyways, but he takes his Saturday out and he goes to garage sales and he flips stuff on camera so that it does. I mean, it's chump change for him, but he makes sure that you know that you can do it too. Yeah. And he's competitive. It's hilarious. Does he like try to talk people down on their prices and shit? Oh yeah, dude. He's a barter, dude. I was listening to one of his videos for Daily V, and he was like, yeah, man, you always got to sell, you know? You always got to let the customer say no when you're selling stuff. You got to be like, when I was in the wine business, I would be like, hey, you want a case of that Merlot? And they'd be like, sure. And he's like, okay, you want a case of this? And they'd be like, okay. He's like, well, maybe you want a case for your kid, you know, when they grow up and graduate or whatever. Okay, yeah, I'll be aged by then. You want this? Shut up. Okay, 3 cases. That's good. You know, he lets the customer decide when they're done. Don't let you you can't tell them what they're going to spend, which is, it's one way to do it. But anyways, it's just.
That's like the whole marketing. Like that's what they teach sales associates at Zoomies, Target, and everything. Is like you start at the top of the expensive stuff. Like they say, I'm looking for shirts. You show them the most expensive shirts. And if they say no, then you start working your way down until you're at the sales.
Yep. It's big to small or small to big. Social psychology, man. You either present them with the biggest problem and then they're like, no, but then you make the smaller problem look smaller.
Where they're at and where they're willing to spend, you just keep throwing stuff at them until they say no, ring me out.
Yep. Exactly right, man. Social psychology. Read that in my book. You start with a big thing and end with a small thing, or you start with a small thing and end with a big thing. It's actually one of his, so that's a social psychology concept, but it's also what he wrote his book about, jab, 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 right hook, where it's like you give, and then you ask. Small, small, small. People are more willing to do things for you if you do small favors for them a bunch of times and then ask for a big favor from them. It's not 100% accurate, right? Like people just might be an ass, but but it is. I mean, that's one way to approach things. Is like if I do something small, and then maybe you might do something big for me. Same thing. People are more likely to do that. Or if you have, like in terms of sale, you present something small. You're like, hey, we got these $2 lanyards on for 50 cents. You can get these, going for each one of your family, and they'll be like, okay. You get them in the mood, the juices are flowing, they're ready to spend money, and then you might be like, and here's this lamp for $45.99, and they might be like, you know what, I do need a new lamp. Yep. Or like you said, you could say, when I was at Down East, they had the Everest. It was the ultimate when it came to couches, dude. It was like, I think it was like $1,500, something like that. Fully automated reclining system, had a full 2-year warranty on the metal frame, a warranty on the motor, a warranty on the leather of the couch. You could choose the colors, customize the shapes of the couch, man. I used to sell those things like nothing. So anyways, you start them on the Everest, and they're like, well, that's a little too expensive for me. I'm like, well, let's go check out the Zachary set. That's more like in the price range that you want. Or we have these couches that we just got from unsaid person that provides stuff, because I can't say that on podcast. We just got these in from this company. Why don't you come look at these? In fact, they go down in appreciated value by 20%. You're practically getting a $2,000 couch for like $500. That's how you sell them, man. Big to small, small to big. You're right. But back to what we were talking about. You're right, man. You got to work your freaking face off. I don't care. So that's what I've been realizing lately is I challenged myself. I didn't do it this time, but I set myself up to do something greater, which is interesting. So I have this dream that I have to accomplish, right? Where essentially I have to retire my grandmother because she kind of raised me for, long time. So anyways, she's 67 and she's still driving taxi cab, man. That pisses me off. And so I've got to retire her with my funds. And so one of her dreams, the only thing that she wants or has ever asked me for is to have a cabin up in the woods, right? Back, towards the mountains or Fairfield or whatever. And that's a whole nother story. But basically, I have an opportunity in which a friend is selling a cabin. And so I told myself a week ago, I was like, I just have to make $200,000 in the next year or so I can buy this cabin, because one, my grandma might die. I don't know. I don't want her to die before I can provide that for her. And two, I don't want the cabin to sell and me, get opportunity of a lifetime and not be able to take it. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so I've been figuring out ways that I can just start making money, just cash, just straight into cash mode, hustle every day. Boom, 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 grinding my face off. And so what I did was I had to make repairs on my car, right? And so I kind of intentionally let myself get into a situation where I didn't have enough money to pay my rent, so that I needed to make that money. Like I just had 7 days to just make $700, right? Yep. Just moolah, just bam, bam, bam. And even though I didn't quite make that much, the idea and what situation that put me in, where I had to grind and figure out other ways to make money other than my job, has now set me up to where even though I didn't make as much money as I wanted to, it pushed me out of my comfort zone enough to book some gigs that I might not have booked before for photography or videography or whatever. And it forced me to kind of get real practical about what I'm doing. And it's going to set me up for the long term, being 3 to 6 months of growing my business to a point where it's like, now I'm making just as much money as I had before. Plus things are going better at Crossway, and there's some other stuff that's going on with that. We just got a new GM, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Just have to find a way.
And so I wanted to present this to my friend because I felt like it was honestly really detrimental to his mental health, that he was just going crazy looking at his podcast numbers just barely growing, you know.
Yep.
His Patreon's not as big as he wants it. It's not as big as I want it to be for him, you know.
Yep.
And so I wanted to present this to him, but I felt like such a fucking hypocritical dickhole for just volunteering all week. So I told myself, like, I'm not going to volunteer. If he sends me home, I'll come home and stream video games and hang out with the people on Facebook. And if not, then I'm gonna grind, man.
Yep. Got to maximize. That's what,
We got to get that
18 hours a day, man.
18, yeah.
18 hours a day.
And then try to sleep the other 8.
Yep.
Try. Oh, wait, the other 6. 5.5.
Got to get 6. I got that down, man. When I'm asleep, I'm asleep. I have nightmares, but I just push through. I don't wake up.
Freddy Krueger's in your nightmares stuff. Yeah. He's like trying to scare you awake, and you just grab him in your dream and just start beating the shit out of him.
Yep. No, it's true, man. I just live in that. It's actually weird because when I do have a nightmare or something like that, there's just like like I think about the dream, and then inside the dream, for some reason, I'm like, rationally, I'm like, what's going on here? What is this? And then it just gets better. Like, it just has a sharp turnaround. Or I just live in that hell for 6 hours and I wake up
well rested and ready for the day.
Yeah. I'm like, I take about 20 seconds, slowly open my eyes. I'm like, that wasn't real. Good. And then I get out of bed, roll out. I usually, I have this thing where it's like, we're big guys, all right? I'm not like super huge, but I'm 6'5", about 255, so it takes a lot of energy to get my body out of bed, right? So when I'm sleeping, I wait, and I have a 4-second counter. When I know I have to get up and I have no choice, and my brain's like, no, we're going back. I'm like, 4, 3, 2. If I had a cat, I'd probably have a heart attack, man, because I throw up the blanket in the bathroom in 2 seconds, peeing, showering, getting out of there. I also, here's another thing about my hygiene, is like the last month or so, I just forgot to buy toilet paper. So you know what I do?
You just shower every time you shit?
Yep. Oh, I just poop in the morning, and I shower, and that's it.
And then you come home from work, you take that second one if you need it. If not, it can wait till the morning.
Yep, that's right. Or I poop at work. Poop at work, man.
Oh yeah, they have toilet paper at work. I was like, wait, you're pooping and not wiping, bro. That's not okay.
They have toilet paper at work. You gotta be smart about it, man.
Yeah.
It's talking about talking about hustle, man. I ain't got time to be if I can spare, I don't have to buy toilet paper. I can just take a shower, then go to work, poop. I don't even have to have a shower. I can shower at work. I work at a gym. I can shower at work. Yeah, all right. Yeah, man. I don't even need it. Man, you got so many ways that you can okay. So here's the thing. If you're going to hustle, you have to understand that it's not going to be ideal, man. Like, you can't be like, all right, well, crap. If you have to choose between buying a new battery for your camera or buying some toilet paper and paper towels for your house, I'm buying my new battery for my camera because that's my business. I'm going to, I have to I understand that even though I'm going to suffer for like 2 months, I might not have toilet paper or paper towels or whatever. Because I bought that battery, guess what I can do? I can have dual angles on my freaking podcast with my buddy Nathan. All right? So you gotta,
I'll sneak you a roll of toilet paper before you go. I
Dude.
promise.
I need it, man. Support the K-Sean.
Support the Sean.
Support the Sean on Patreon, man.
Yeah, go to
Your dollars go towards my toilet. That's right. That's right. But that's just it. And also, I forget too. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to go out. But, anyways, I think our camera just died. I'm gonna switch the battery. So here it goes. We might have to cut.
Start recording. Second clap sync on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that was right on the money.
That was money.
Where were we before we left off?
Oh, we were just talking,
talking
about
about the
hustle.
grind.
We were just talking about grinding your face off, taking
Grinding
the
the hustle.
freaking, those nail clipper things for dogs. The things they rotate, a Dremel,
Yeah.
just a big Dremel. You're grinding your face off. Just literally grinding it down to a fine so that literally you don't have a face, so nobody can make fun of you. You don't even have
You don't have a face, you have an image.
That's right.
That's how you become the biggest,
the world is
blackest
your
mother
face.
yucker.
Yeah, that's right. You grind your face so smooth that it reflects the faces of others, and they're looking within themselves when they look at you.
They look at all the successful parts of themselves and they see that in you.
That's right. That's right. It's all from you, man, but it's also within them. They are within and without.
Amen.
Anyways, we're back.
What's going on? What do I got?
This one shot camera angle, man.
Yeah,
got
man.
30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, it's so ghetto.
It's
I
so
love
ghetto,
it,
but
though.
we got it. We got it. We got it
Um,
back in that grind. Talking about hustle. What if we were like, what if we remembered the last word we said before the camera came up, and then we said that word, and then it was like we were back in it.
We're going to do that next time.
That'd be crazy. Anyways, nah, man. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell. So back to the story that we had earlier about me not liking to drive late at night. So, Deshaun did not take driver's ed
Neither
ever.
did
Never took driver's ed.
I just went in, took the test, got my license.
Yep, went in, took the test, got my license at 18 is what I did. And so I remember one time I was dating this gal back when I was a kiddo, my freshman year of college. And I was
Put it in
driving
her
to
butt?
Boise. What?
You put it in her butt?
Nope, that's not what happened.
I'm sorry, go.
So, anyways, we were, I was driving down to Boise or up to Boise or whatever, and it was my second week of driving, so I was just driving along, tried to pass the semi-truck, and the wind from his trailer whipped us to the side, man, and I, going 80 miles an hour with cruise control on, hit the borrow pit, flipped my car trunk to hood twice, and then rolled sideways 5 times in the middle of, like the borrow pit, like the section of the highway.
Was this when you were driving with your girlfriend?
Yeah. Yep. Flipped the car, total freaking Need for Speed action, action sequence, dirt, clouds, should have not survived that, man. Didn't have a seatbelt on. Didn't have any injuries at all. Boy, I literally did not injure myself.
Are people really not wearing seatbelts in 2018?
Neither me nor my girlfriend had any injuries on our body. That's the most important thing. We literally
Jesus literally floated down in the cars like, get in my robe.
Yep.
Get in my robe.
We're going. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I can't even remember. I remember dirt. And I remember waking up in the car, and the craziest thing. So here's the thing: you ever seen Harry Potter?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I asked somebody that the other day, and they said no. So when he's the prisoner of Azkaban, when the freaking Dementor comes into the train, and then whenever Harry goes down, he hears his mom screaming. It's exactly what I literally heard that, except not in like a, oh, Voldemort's killing me, I'm screaming way. More like in my mom screaming at me because I didn't clean the toilet or something. Like, and so like literally I wake up and I'm like I thought Cameron was screaming. So I'm like, stop screaming. What the heck? What's going on? It might have been me screaming. Now that I think about it, it might have been me like, what the? Oh my God. And so anyways, I just woke up and I'm like, I look over at Cameron and I'm like, are we dead? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
I wish I was.
Are we bleeding? She's like, well, your nose is bleeding. And I'm like, all right, we got to get out of here, because it was so much velocity was going through the car that my keys had been ejected from the ignition, but the car was still running. And so literally, like, when we got out of the car, our seats were the only thing intact. Both the trunk and the hood were just flat. Just like,
And the engine was still running?
yeah, just like a freaking block, right? Like, like just it was a 4-door car, 2 doors were left. And so we just get out of the car, engine's still running. I'm like, if there's oil leaking, that car might explode, man. I don't know. I didn't know. I just got in a
seen
freaking
movies.
car crash.
We
man.
gotta go.
I don't know what happened.
We're gonna run away, and someone's gonna pull out a camera to take a picture of the accident. And it's gonna explode behind us.
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta go.
So, yeah, it was crazy. You know, I've dealt with a lot of trauma in my past, so nothing against her, but she was really freaking out, crying and stuff, and I was not. I was like, I just didn't like. I did. Boy. To me, I just didn't understand. Like, to me, because of what I've been through, like,
You were just like,
I just know, like, you know, your body just shuts down. Like, I'm used to shutting down, like getting punched in the face, and I'm just shutting down. Like, I'm like, all right, well, time to not feel pain anymore, you know? So that was the state that I was in. So everybody was freaking out. Like, people got out of their cars, like rushing in the middle of the bar. They're like, are you okay? Don't move. Don't move. Your back could be broken. You know, that's true.
I'm running.
You're right.
How do you think my back is broken?
Yeah, but it's adrenaline, man. So that's the truth. So I was like, all right. So I sit down and I'm like, okay, my back kind of like, it felt like I had slipped a disc or something. So I was like, I had to be careful. I'm like, my back feels like it's, you know, and they're like, okay, don't move. Just wait for the ambulance to get here. And like Cameron's, you know, kind of crying. Like, she wasn't bawling. Like, she wasn't, you know, but she was definitely emotional. But I was just like,
I would be too if I just rolled 80 times.
yep. To me, I was like, you know, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Like, I gotta,
Let's hurry this
we
shit
gotta
up.
get home.
I gotta go.
Like,
I gotta
you
go.
know, like, that was the mindset that I was in. Is I was super practical. I was like, how are we getting home? How am I getting home? I have work tomorrow. Let me call Clint, my boss, you know, tell him I'm not going to be like, that's the thoughts that were going through my head, you know, and so it was just weird. So anyways, getting to the ambulance, you know, a cop was kind of being a jerk about it because, you know, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. So he was like, do you understand? I'm like, well, and he didn't know I was a new driver. He just was yelling at me. And so my girlfriend was like defending me. She's like, listen, we just got in a car. Like, we just freaking, are you kidding me? You're going to be
almost
yelling
died.
You're going to be yelling at me when I just freaking 98% chance I should have flown out the windshield and I'm right here. Are you kidding me? So anyways, you know, and then he calmed down. Then when he found out I was a new driver, he like came in and like I'm all in my hospital bed with my neck brace on because they thought there was something wrong with my back. They hadn't done x-rays yet, so they just keep my neck in place. And he's like, you believe in the guy up there? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he was watching out for you today. And left. Didn't even say sorry, just left. I'm like, all right, well, at least he was kind of chill at the end. So got the x-rays, $5,000 worth of x-rays to find out there was literally nothing wrong, not a single thing out of place, just me.
Fuck.
It was crazy, man. Drove
All in your head,
home.
bro. You never need to go to the doctor.
Man.
It's all in your head, always.
Man, it was
Apples
crazy.
will fix it.
So anyways, needless to say, I'm a little more cautious now when I drive. Don't want to flip into a borrow pit all the time.
Always wear your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, I wear my seatbelt now. I literally, man, that's like, can you imagine if you hit this house going 80 miles an hour? Like 80 miles an hour?
You tear like halfway into it.
You would fly. I don't think so. You'd fly through this house. You'd fly going 45 miles an hour. I'd bust into your living room.
Well, yeah, you'd bust in, but then you'd hit a beam or something in there, and your car would just get lodged in a wall somewhere.
Yeah. I think 80, you'd pretty much be decimating anything. It might blow up. The house might blow up. The house itself.
I mean, if you hit like a gas something, sparks, bro.
No, that's not. Nope.
We
The
got
house
gas in
just
the
blows up. Oh my gosh.
There's so much friction between each individual brick that they all just implode.
That's right. That's right. But man, it was crazy. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. You just don't. Yeah, you know, what people say is true. You know, everything was kind of in slow motion. I remember the moment before and the moment I woke up. And then dirt. I like went to sleep for a couple seconds because of the G's, I think. But I literally, oh man, I can't even like, and I'm not even like, it's not that I'm like emotional about it. I just can't even explain to you how it felt. Cause like when I was rolling through the air, just like in Deadpool when like the car is like falling, you know, like it has the wedgie in the. Anyways, I'm like in the air, like no.
I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Like it was just really like kind of like I just remember when I went into the slide, it was like and I was like up, taking the shoulder to the ground. Here it goes, you know, like. Almost like if someone judo flipped you and you know you're going down and you're like, oh, guess I better go with it.
And, like tense up.
Yep, you're like gonna shoulder this crash. You know, it was ridiculous. People observing the crash they couldn't comprehend how we were alive. They just didn't know. They're like, excuse me, I just saw you. I just literally watched you. I saw it like we didn't see. Obviously, we were in the car. This semi truck driver's like, dude. You were under my semi, like literally our car was like he was gonna hit it and sideswipe us, and then we like it was. And
the wind just.
It was just like no. So when the wind whipped us, I overcorrected, hit the side, and then overcorrected to the right side and was in front of his truck, like in the right lane.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got in front of him, and then I overcorrected again, and that's when the roll happened.
Yeah, that's how most accidents happen. Is like. It's not on the overcorrection. It's on the overcorrection of the overcorrection.
Yep.
Because it gets out of hand really quick because you'll be going one way and then you start to go and like especially like if you have someone who's especially stupid in your passenger seat and if they reach over to like adjust for you and you like snatch it back from them, like there's a lot of accidents that happen that way because as soon as most people that's just an instinct. Like if they start grabbing your shit for you to grab it and undo whatever they just did.
Yep.
And you do it fast enough, that car just goes whoop.
Yeah. And it was crazy because you don't usually see trunk to hood either. Like you'll see someone like and like roll sideways. Yeah. But we literally hit the borrow pins because of the of the cliff there. It went bam and then flipped like a freaking like a matchbox car. You know when you were a kid and you used to pretend to make crashes with your little Hot Wheels and like you'd hit the thing and you're like that's exactly what we did. Bam, 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 bam. It was crazy, man. It was over.
Yeah, when I was very little, I had to been like, is when my arm was broken. So I'm going to say like 4th or 5th grade, right? Mm-hmm. No, I was even littler. I hadn't even moved here yet. So I had to be like 3rd grade. I had a broken arm and we were ice fishing and it was me, my dad, and pretty much like my god cousin. I know, like yeah. And we had a pretty similar flip. We were because my dad overfished and we left late and he had a baseball game to get back to. Right. And we were like already pretty much late and my dad's just going like just readjusting for the ice over and over again because the road's just pure ice and he's still going like 60 or whatever and we're just sliding back and forth and it was kind of fun. I was really little. I was just playing my Game Boy, just kind of having fun in the slide, you know. It's my older brother's Game Boy. Yeah. And I remember he said I could take it, but if anything happens to it, he's gonna kill me. Right. And so eventually we keep on doing this thing and my dad goes too far off one side. The back tire slips into some dirt, and so it's like the rest of the car just has all the friction, and so the back left tire just slides into the dirt, and then just I still remember it sounds literally like a big thud, like it from a cannon when you first like go into the air, like it's just, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? Yeah, and I see. I didn't pass out. The G's weren't nearly as bad because we popped up in the air, did a whole roll in the air, did a whole roll on the ground, and then right back up onto the tires, and we were good. Nice. Like the windshield was fucked, but the truck was still salvageable. Like it was still in pretty good shape for for going like 60 in the air, you know. Jeez. But when I first heard that, my first instinct, also I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I took the Game Boy, closed it up midair, put it in my asshole. I'm not even kidding. I stuck it under my ass. Flat. Oh, God. Because I figured that would be the safest place. Oh, no. Pulled it out, and it was perfectly fine. Yep. Not even fucking with you. Tucked it in.
It's crazy.
I just remember. I know I blacked out a little bit after that. Like I don't remember being upside down the second time. I think because I was in the middle and then the other guy was on my right because it was just a pickup, and then the back seats are not that comfortable. So I think my dad just braced himself against the bottom of the car and like pushed his back against the seat,
Yeah.
and then just put an arm out and just like stuck us to the seats because my dad, he's built like me and you. We're all monsters. And so he just puts his arm all the way across. He probably grabbed that door, just pushed us into the seats and I just sticking a Game Boy under my asshole.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And so we drove the rest of the way back. My mom met us at like the Flying J near Jerome.
Oh yeah.
And
Was she
everyone was
crying?
kind of freaking
like,
out.
"Oh."
I started crying because I had realized what happened halfway. And there's a giant hole in the windshield, and it's the middle of winter, so I'm freezing. My tears are like freezing to my face, and that's making me cry more because I'm cold and I'm scared. Because
Your dad's like, boy,
the
don't be sorry, be better.
the hood and stuff still had smoke coming out from under it because something was still fucked.
Right.
It was like either a coolant leak or something. But like I said, it was still in pretty good shape, but it was just something was still fucked.
Jeez, man. That's crazy. I think I did the same. I think that's the only way I was able to survive without a seatbelt, dude.
Yeah.
Is
Well, it's because
instead
you're
of,
big
like-
enough that you could brace yourself.
I literally, and I was, like, when I come to think about it, in my seat, I was literally, my foot was on, like, the wedge of the window, and my hand was on, like, the wall. And I think I like, my girlfriend had a seatbelt on, but I might have saved us both, man, because I had, like, my entire leg over her body. And I'm just riding
Wait,
with this thing.
what? So after you went in the air, you fucking stretched all the way over her?
Yeah, like I literally, like, I'm in
What?
the car, like rolling, like almost like if it was a ball, like those freaking hamster balls that
Yeah.
are huge. Like if I put my hands on it, I'm just rolling like that. Literally, my hand was on the ceiling, my door, and my leg was across her body and up into the wedge of the window.
And your other leg was on the driver's side,
yeah, like on the gas
where a
or
clutch
whatever.
would be on a stick.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like literally like I'm just spidered out. And
Just tense as fuck, bracing for that shit.
I don't know why, but
So-
I'm a large being, but for some reason I've been granted with spidey senses, bro, because I honestly, like, I lived through that, but I've lived through a lot of stuff that I ninja'd my way out of somehow that I don't remember. Like, I did not consciously do that. Like, my body took over. My body's just like, nope, we ain't gonna die. Sorry, buddy. We got other things to do. I'd like to think it's God, but if you want to explain it scientifically, I guess my reflexes are just really fast. Because literally, there's another time that I fell off of like a 20-foot ladder that I was standing on top of and didn't break anything or hurt anything or even hit my... Like, I literally... I was on this ladder, and it was the stupidest thing. I was hanging Halloween decorations at Crossway, and they have vaulted ceilings. They're like 20 feet high, right? So I'm on this 20-foot ladder. And I'm hanging spider webs, and my freaking afro, my fake afro, because my afro wasn't big enough to be Michael Jackson status at that time, and I was Michael Jackson. So my fake afro got stuck in the spider webs, and so that...
And you were fucking with it.
Yeah, I fucked with it, and I was standing on top of the ladder, not the rung. I was on top, like they say not to do.
Yeah.
And I literally, the ladder goes to fall, and I'm like, instead of how you would think a human would be, which is to hang onto the ladder and just fall with it, I freaking...
No, you slide down the ladder as fast
I
as
didn't
you
even
can.
slide down. Well, yeah, you should do that. I didn't even do that. I ran down the ladder like freaking Matrix style. I saw it coming, and it was impossible. I was in the vaulted way. It's like half the size of this room.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally cut this in half. Door, wall. There's a door open. The front door is open. There's another door open. And there's another ladder. And I missed all of it. I was falling with the ladder, ran down the side of that ladder, caught the other ladder, like put my foot against the door jamb, and then spidered out on the floor and caught myself, like, just on, like, literally, like, And so my girlfriend was there. Like, she looked, like, my now girlfriend, she looked and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. Stood up. I'm like, dust myself off, walked away. It's the craziest thing, man. I remember one time I was in a movie shoot a couple months ago, And it was 2:00 in the morning. We had so all of us are busy, so we could only film it for 2 days, right? Like literally Saturday, Sunday, all night, all day long, all night long. That's the movie. Like we just filmed for a straight 48 hours. And then I obviously had to go to work, and then we just come back and film, right? And it was out in the desert. It was out in Oakley, so it took like 45 minutes to drive out there. It's an annoying process, but I really liked the movie. So anyways, I'm like sitting here, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and this chick, like I'm just too tired. And we're all sitting watching the scene take place, but I'm the monster, so I only was in there for like a couple scenes, right? And so I'm sitting in, just a folding chair, and this chick's like, hey, we're on a slope, so, if you put your chair down, you're gonna fall. And I was like, I'm good, I won't fall. So I put my chair in immediately, but the funny thing is that she said she didn't even hear anything. Like, she didn't hear me fall. She literally, all she knew is that I was down the hill all of a sudden, and I was walking back up it. She did not. Apparently, I, even at, my tired state, had fallen, caught my fall gracefully, rolled down the hill silently.
Just bracing every... moving your body as gracefully. It's all the dancing.
Dude, it's crazy. It has to be, dude. I don't even know. She's just like, I did not hear a single... I was next, like, from you to me. This is how close we were to her. I was behind her. She was watching the scene. I was a little bit behind her. She didn't hear a single thing. Didn't hear not a pebble move on the ground. I just rolled. It was ridiculous, man. So anyways, needless to say, I'm a ninja, man. I don't know what to say.
No, I'm a big guy too, but I think I'm pretty light on my feet, and I think it's from all the squats that I do, because I Slav squat a lot as a joke.
It's got to be.
And so
Especially
I just
in
have
skinny jeans.
really strong... They're joggers.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
I am very verbally against jeans and pants and khakis. Because joggers look nice,
Joggers
and you're
are great,
comfortable.
Man. Yeah.
I've said it like 80 times on this podcast.
Joggers are great, man. No, I have joggers. I have all kinds of joggers.
I don't wear anything but joggers now.
Yep.
Because at work, you just pull up the scrubs over them, and
Yep.
so it's like they keep me cool, but I'm also not cold when I'm out in the warehouse,
It's also a martial arts thing. You never want to be restricted in your movement. If I have to kick somebody in the face, can't be wearing slacks. Rip them out.
Yeah, and it's good for squatting, too, because if you're just squatting around with your friends, you're hanging out in a circle, eating sunflower seeds, drinking, and you got to get up and run from the cops or something. You're not restricted in pants or whatever. You don't have to worry about them falling off your ass. You don't got to worry about a belt because they're nice
true,
around
man.
you.
You can stitch them as tight as you need to be.
Yeah.
It's an all-around good thing. Wish the world thought so, but I don't really care because I'm me. That's the only reason why I have jeans. It's because of my workplace. I have to wear slacks, at my job. Otherwise, literally, I don't buy clothes. People give me clothes, not like in a weird
You're
charitable
homeless kinda
way. More like in a I'm in enough organizations where my closet is populated with T-shirts for organizations. I have 12 CrossFit T-shirts. I have 5 Idify T-shirts. Couple, Idaho Meth Project T-shirts. I have a Thrivent T-shirt. All my T-shirts are literally just T-shirts that I got from fundraisers or whatever, and all my pants are things that my father sent me. We won't get into that, but anyways, just joggers, and that's I have not bought a single article of clothes. I remember I bought 2 pairs of pants one time when I worked at Down East, because their men's section was other brands like PacSun and American Eagle and things like that, that they got from, because how that works is if the item's defect in some way, say a thread's missing or something, then that company will sell it to other companies, and still get a profit off of it.
Yeah, that's what Ross is for.
And so literally you'd get American Eagle jeans, usually $50. They would be on clearance for $19, and then I'd get a 50% discount because I'm an employee, which means I bought those American jeans for $7. So I bought 2 pairs of jeans, and they were actually really good. Lasted me 2 years before I ripped the crotch out of them. It's pretty good, But
oh yeah, anytime
that's why I wear joggers too, man. So I'll rip the freaking.
My dick's too big.
No, I knew we were going there. Wasn't gonna say it. I sensed
It just
it.
rips through all the jeans.
Sensed it in the force.
I'm just fucking.
No.
I'm just fucking.
But yeah, man, it was the
It is kind of rough trying to hide a out of nowhere boner though.
hey, man, You become an expert when you have to deal with that your entire life.
Well, I
It's just
also just wear big shirts, and so I'll just sit down and just pull my shirt like.
Nah, I tuck it. I'm a tucker. I tuck it in the top
See,
end of my underwear.
I was told by all my friends, you give it the Texas tuck, you put it up in your waistband, and pull, tighten up your waistband, or you tighten
Cuts
up your
off
belt.
circulation, goes down, man.
Yeah, except one time mine was I was wearing joggers. No, I was wearing basketball shorts, but they still had like the ties, and so they were still tight, except it just didn't go away,
Oh, weird.
and so it just flopped out once.
Oh,
And it was under my shirt, thank God, but it still scared the fuck out of me, and I still like jumped and went.
classic Nathan style, man.
Just walking around with my dick out.
Wouldn't be me, man. If I realized it, I'm a chill guy, right? Like I am a Christian, So ideally, that would not happen in any circumstance, because I'm an expert now. I can just handle it. But if I'm over here and my Jolly Rancher decides to ranch its way out of my Jolly, then I just gotta go with it, man. I can't resist. I can't just be like, oh no, what has happened to me? I gotta be like, oh, my bad. Pull it back in. They'll forget about
I'm
it.
seeing stars right now. I'm not even fucking around. That was too much.
Oh god, man. But really though, like, you gotta, I'm not gonna say anything about me, but I don't know.
Why'd you call it a Jolly
notice.
Rancher?
I don't know.
That is
You're right.
Keishon.
It's a,
You're the big man on campus here.
yeah.
Not me. Look at the color of your skin, brother.
Oh,
That's the good kind of racism.
No, yeah, man. I don't know. Didn't want to be vulgar. It turned out to be more vulgar than it was.
Jolly
But anyways, yeah. So there you go, man. Car crashes, though, man. Adrenaline does something weird to your body. I think you just survival instinct is something that I'm interested in. It's like how does at what point do you begin to just be like, no matter what happens, I'm getting out of this situation. I don't care with anybody. I'll kill anybody. I'll kill that cat over there. I'll use it as a
I'll eat
freaking
that
sleeve for my hand. Cat fist.
I will use. Yeah, I will use this cat to beat something else to death with. I go work my way up. I'll use the mouse to catch the cat. Use the cat to beat a dog, and then
It's like that.
and then train that dog to hunt.
That's right.
Like
It's like a
Survival
like a Hercules,
instinct.
the Hercules fist in God of War 4 or God of War 3, when you got the two gauntlets or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's a cat, so you just stick your hand up his butt, and you got the teeth on your fist.
Yeah.
And you just punch him in the face with a cat skull, man. that's brutal.
that's some brutal shit.
Oh, cats, man. Or you could use that as a machine gun, I guess.
Yep.
Shooting turds.
That thing is gonna click any second.
It might click any second. How long have we been?
28
No.
minutes on the dot.
You think so?
It says right there on the recording.
We good. You'll see it click. We'll know. But no, man. I think
I don't know. I wanted to talk about phonies and losers today,
Oh, really? Okay.
but I think we'll save that for next time.
Ooh. Phonies and losers.
Yucking on funnies. I think we'll call this one yucking on car crashes.
Yucking on.
Yucking on almost fucking dying.
Yucking on survival, man. What? That's crazy, man. No, I would wager that survival instinct is the one thing that we probably won't ever evolve out of, man.
Yeah.
If you believe in evolution.
I'm just gonna play the outro, and if it happens during it, I'm just gonna fade it to black.
There you go. Play the outro, man.
Funny story, I actually threw up in front of his office.
Tastes like shit. Don't be gross.
Yellowmouth Yuck Yuck survival. Here we go.
Yuck Yuck. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's yucking time.
All right, lady Mart, gents. No, did you? What?
I thought I heard something.
If you made it this far in the podcast, God bless you. This was kind of a weird one too, but it's gonna be weird every week. That's just what me and Deshaun do. We'll have some guests coming up soon. We'll have some calling guests anyway. Oh shit! God damn it.
Yeah.
You could listen if you're listening to this on like YouTube or Facebook. We're also available on the audio platforms: Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes. You can find us on our website, yuckyuckproductions.com. You can shoot us an email, hit us up on Twitter. We'll have little clips on Instagram at Yuck Yuck Productions. Peace and love.
Peace and love.